It's Monday. I'm back from my 1 week break. I'm gonna be working on the rainbow flag, pride, uh, flag. Yeah. My brain is a little bit of a mush, but that's normal. Let's see here. Are you serious? Alright. There we go. Ooh. Alright, I really need to get focused. Focusing has been a problem today, even at the day job. Okay. We're gonna start with phalanx. Because I think I can just draw like a couple, like the big version and then the little version, little guys, and just scatter them a copy paste. Yeah. Little tiny nubby legs. Okay. too big of a spike. Dang, 6 months of modding already? Crazy. Thank you for bonking the bots. It's alright. I figured you were sleeping. Oof. Yeah, I'm fortunate right now where the mosquitoes aren't that bad yet in my area. Because roommate and I did quite a bit of yard work on Saturday. More like we worked for like half an hour, 45 minutes in the front yard, and then realized we needed more gardening stuff. And then we went to the store to get gardening stuff, and then we ended up she ended up buying like a bunch of plants and like soil, and we didn't get any gardening tools that we originally went there for. I picked up new gardening gloves for my big old hands. We had some tools, just not the tools we wanted to do the work quickly, because we're like, oh hey, we thought we had the hedge trimmer, but apparently my roommate's sister has it right now. So I'm just like, dang. So we're like, oh, let's go get a weed whacker. And then we get there, and all the weed whackers they had there were like way out of our budget. So I ended up buying some new gardening gloves because the ones we had on hand were like really worn out and didn't fit me correctly. So I spent like $15 on getting on gloves. I don't think we have a lot of spots in our backyard for mosquitoes to hang out, fortunately. And then I also like when they asked me like, "Hey, are you willing to help me with like yard work?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And like I was just like, "I'm going to need sunscreen though." Do you have sunscreen? I threw mine out. Cuz when I did my big old cleaning couple weeks ago over Memorial Day weekend, I threw out like all of the old lotions I had lying around in my room because like those expire after a while. So I'm like, I need to get these out of here. Like I had bottles of sunscreen that were like 2-3 years old. I'm like, yeah, these don't. They're not effective anymore. So I'm just gonna get rid of them. Dang, 45 stream streak. Nice. I'm gonna flip this guy. It's all good, Shrimpy. Yeah! Use that emote! Alright. So we need to do like 2 more of the little ones. Okay, so I have to do 1 more of the little guys. Happy Pride! I wore my Pride mushroom shirt to work today. Okay. I just want to scooch these guys over just a little bit. Nice. Okay, that's one row. Now, the question is, do I just want to ink this row real quick? Yeah, I think I'm just going to ink this row real quick. Just because, like, with the phalanx and everything, they're going to be really easy to ink. Alright. Dropping master. I love a good snaggle, like a good tooth and a good teefies. Whip. It went pretty good today. It was pretty chill at work. Okay. Excuse me. was a... Another reference I had for Yamper was from the anime. Ah, there it is. Like the first sketch I did a couple weeks ago for this, I showed this to a Pokemon group I'm in, and I'm like, who's that Pokemon? And someone guessed, like, one of the guesses was like Glameow, and then someone else pretty quickly was like, no, that's Yamper. And I'm just like, I'm so glad I got like enough of the shape language down with this Pokemon to where, like, on a very rough sketch you can figure out what it is. Okay. A big old booty. Actually, hold up. Excuse me, don't know where that came from. Oh, just got a hiccup. Ugh. Do. Look at that butt. I smacked that butt. I bet smacking a Yamper's butt, very satisfying. Like a good solid thud. Like sometimes when you like affectionately, like a hard affectionate pat to a dog and they kind of just sound like a drum. Do that to Roro all the time. Because it just sounds so good. Yeah, a nice hard pat to the booty. When I do that to Roro, I call it playing the booty bongos. So I'll just like pat his butt until he like sits down in protest. Nice. Roro's got like a spot behind one of his ears where like he like lets out this cute little like grunt when you scratch behind there real good. When Roro got Van Gogh'd, I think last year when he had the incident with his ear and he was wearing his little like medical babushka, um, he couldn't scratch his ears. So like my roommate and I would occasionally like slip like our fingers underneath the babushka and like just get like on his neck and like right behind his head, and Rover would just melt when you gave him those little when you gave him scritches because he couldn't get at it himself. Yeah, his bark bushka. I kind of still chuckle sometimes when I think back to when I like posted I shared the picture of him from the first trip to the visit, like the immediate trip to the visit, because he had a couple trips to the vet, and the first one was where he got like the gauze bandage and everything, and after they did like the surgery on his ears when he got like the fancy bark bushka, but when he had just like the gauze, he looked like Van Gogh. So that whole I said the dog got Van Gogh'd. Oh, I've never had a cast. I've never broken a big bone. I've like maybe broken a finger minorly, like a fracture. But I've never broken a bone to where I've had to where I had to get a cast. My sister did once. She broke her arm because we thought it was a great idea to take our husky at the time for a walk while my sister was wearing her rollerblades. And then the dog saw a squirrel, and my sister went flying. Oof. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, I might have, like... I don't think I broke my wrist. I badly sprained both of my wrists once, like, 10 years ago. 10 or so years ago, I badly sprained both of my wrists because, it was during my Yuri on Ice phase, / obsession, and I had taken up ice skating. Casually. I wasn't taking any classes because I couldn't afford to take classes, but I was like going to the local ice rink on Tuesdays before work at one of my jobs because like it was like $6 or it was free with your own skates. Either way, my Tuesday mornings were spent ice skating, and one time my toe pick caught the ice, and I fell. Or something happened. I fell backwards onto both of my hands and sprained both of my wrists really bad. I think I was like in like a brace or like ace bandages for like 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. Because I didn't have health insurance at the time, so I couldn't go to the doctor to get it checked out. And I'm like, you know what? If it is just a sprain, you just keep it wrapped and you put ice on it and you just take pain meds. You just take some painkillers and it's all good. So that's what I did. I couldn't draw or play video games for like 3 weeks though. Kind of sucked. I did read a lot during that time because I could hold a book. I don't think I need to put that circle. Like, ink that circle, but I can do this. I mean, I don't think spraining my wrist was as bad as when I sprained my ankle once, because my toe pick caught the ice. And then I had to immediately go to my job afterwards, so I was, like, limping around, and, like, my boss didn't even, like, ask what was wrong. I think my movie theater job actually asked me what was wrong. Because I was like, hey, I really can't do... I think I asked to, like, have, like, the ticket taker, like, job. So I can, like, sit. Because I'm like, I sprained my ankle. And then, like, one of my bosses was like, how'd you sprain your ankle? And I'm like, oh, I was ice skating and I fell and pulled it real bad. And then this was like, mind you, like, I think it was like May when this happened. So he was like, there are no, like, it's May, you're lying. And I'm like, dude, there's an indoor ice rink in neighboring town. They have free skate, they have like public skate on Tuesday mornings. You can ask coworker. She's also there. Oh yeah, my ankles are garbage. A couple years ago, I was on a camping trip with my aunt, and we were leaving the campsite's pool because we had like dinner reservations and stuff. So we're like, oh, we gotta go shower, get ready, and everything, or like change and get ready. And as I am like walking, I like go to step down like the stair, and my ankle gave out. It just kind of like collapsed in on itself, which happens on occasion, unfortunately for me. And so like it kind of did like it gave out. I fell. I managed to like catch myself so I didn't like hit my head on anything or like make my injury worse, but I did almost pass out from the pain because it was real bad. But I was like, oh shit, we're in a different state. I don't know if my insurance is gonna work here. So like I kind of just like forced myself not to lose consciousness because I'm like, we have dinner reservations. We cannot go to the hospital right now. So I managed to stay conscious because I was very much like, if I lose consciousness, there is gonna be an ambulance. So then I spent like the rest of the camping trip with my ankle wrapped and elevated, and like I was able to walk. It was just painful. Yeah. And then like my aunt was like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Oh, my ankle just gave out." And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, it does that sometimes." I'm like, my ankles are garbage. Like when it gets like cold and rainy in my area, my ankles, like all my joints hurt, but my ankles especially like flare up basically, and I'm like, this sucks. There are days at work where I'm like, I'm having a rough day, and they're like, why? And I'm like, oh, my ankles are like, all my joints are flaring up, especially my ankles. I also sprained my ankle quite a few times as a kid, like doing soccer and stuff. So I was just like, yeah, no, this is just my ankles. They're garbage. They suck. Ugh. Okay, got this guy done. Yay! I'm thinking what I'll do is I'm going to ink this main guy, like this body, and then I'm going to just copy paste it. Yeah. Ugh, I hate humidity. It got hot and humid here a couple weeks ago. No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, that's that other shit. We'll merge that down real quick. Listen, I ramble all the time. It's all good. I'm just, right now, my main focus for, because I'm probably going to work on this print a little bit outside of stream, because I do want to try and get this one done before my first Pride event this month. Because, like, the non-binary one can wait, but I feel like I should at least have the rainbow one ready to go for my markets this year. So, because I'm pretty sure I can finagle getting this printed at home. Because I did just re-up my ink supply. So, hopefully I don't run out of ink this time. Like I did when I was trying to do Senshi. I like the longer eyeball. There we go. I'm really hoping my first event goes really well. I mean, I'd say I just have to make like over $50 in sales, but the last time I had that mindset, I didn't do $50 in sales. I only did 7, so I'm trying to do it is what it is. I got a couple of commissions lined up right now. I just really hope these next shows go really well. Because I have applied to a few shows for later in the year. That's what I did on Sunday. Is that I was, originally I was just like, putting in, the information from like the last couple shows into my big spreadsheet. That keeps track of like sales, shows I've done, like what I've paid for, like and everything. And then I fell into the rabbit hole of like finding other like library conventions and like college conventions, and like I actually found a website that just has like all the conventions, at least the United States, listed on it. So I just started like going down the list of like stuff in my area and like in southern Wisconsin. I think maybe I'm gonna flip this guy. Yeah, that looks good. Oh yeah, it helps me keep track of like what I've applied to. Like there's an event that actually happened in like my hometown over the weekend that I completely forgot about. And like I put down on that in my spreadsheet that I applied for that show and I never heard back from them. So I put down like apply, like I have like a thing where like it's like, oh, did you apply? And it's a little checkbox, and then it's like table cost, and then it's did you pay it, and then there's like another thing where it's like were you waitlisted, rejected, or like something else. It's like, oh, you missed the deadline to apply to this, apply next year, sort of thing, to help me keep track of like everything. But like I actually found like another library convention through TikTok. So that's promising. Like sometimes it's creepy how local the TikTok algorithm can get, but I also appreciate it. Alright, let's see here. Oh yeah, my spreadsheets are very, they're filled with a lot of information, because I also do spreadsheets at work. So, like, they're very comprehensive. That's the word I'm looking for. They're comprehensive. Because, like, at my job, I have a spreadsheet to help me keep track of everything. And that one's, like, oh, a tech ordered a part. What part did they, what day did they order it? What did they order? How much? How much did we send them? My notes, any comments they left on the order form. And then it's time the order was submitted in Central Time Zone. And then, like, are they the returning tickets? The machine down? What shipping do they want? What store is it for? what is the service order number? And then, like, it's also, like, who picked it, did it ship, what day it shipped, and, like, the shipping docket number and everything. Like, it's very comprehensive because I'm like, I need to have all of this information at my fingertips just in case. It does come in handy because there are people who will be like, oh, hey, we're following up on this order from like 6 weeks ago. We haven't heard anything. And then I can like look up in my spreadsheet and be all like, well, we shipped it 6 weeks ago. What are you talking about? So, like, I think last week I had, like, one of the techs try to order something. And he, like, ordered the same stuff on, like, the Thursday before. And this was on, like, Tuesday, because we had Monday off. And he was trying to order stuff. And I was like, hey, dude, we already sent this to you. You need to allow time for UPS to do their job. Yeah, I have not in the, like, I don't write notes like that in my spreadsheet because my boss does occasionally look at that spreadsheet. So I don't want to leave anything super inappropriate in the notes. But I did have to forward on an order to my boss today. Because one of our techs had like placed an order and ordered like 3 of the 5 parts normally, and then 2 of the parts he put in the comment section. But earlier in the day, a different technician had been able to like enter those parts incorrectly into the order form, so they were listed the way they were supposed to be. So then I forwarded to my boss. I'm like, hey, is there a reason why this guy can't seem to like fill out his form correctly for these 2 parts? Because this other guy this morning managed to do it, so what's going on here? Right. So, and then like there was another guy like towards the end of the day where he placed an order, and then in the comments he tried ordering like tubing. He's like, oh, I need the drain tubing for the machine's 10 feet. And I forwarded to my boss. I'm like, this isn't how you order this part. Like, there is a part number. They need to use the part number. And if they don't know what the part number is, they need to contact, like, tech support, their manager, or refer to the manuals the company provides them. And I'm like, this is a basic function of their job, and I'm not doing it for them. All right. Oh man, under my last boss at this job, he was very much coddling these guys. Like, oh no, if you like, there's this one guy, he travels fairly frequently. He's one of, like, he has a very large area to cover in his region. So he's always on the road. And shortly after I started at this job, my boss at the time was like, hey, you need to like email him like every like Thursday and like ask him where he's gonna be so we can send him like his stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, And I just blatantly went, no, I'm not doing that. And he was like, what? What do you mean you're not doing that? It's like, well, he's got a dispatcher, a manager, and himself. Like, they all know where he's going. They're all capable of telling us. It's like, I don't understand why it's on me to email them every week and ask them where they're going to be when they're the ones on the move. It's like, we have 100 guys. I'm not going to email every single one of them every week to ask them where they're going to be. That's just ridiculous and a waste of time. I'm like, they're the ones who are on the move. They can contact us. Alright. Alright, that looks good. Do I have that file? I do have that file on this computer. Because we're gonna steal the colors. Smarter, not harder. Shortcuts. Was it? I actually posted the I reposted like the gay flag, the men love men flag on TikTok, the time lapse of that this morning. And someone was like, "Oh, this is really great. I just really wish Samurott was on this flag." And I'm like, I'm low key thinking I might offer custom Pokemon Pride flag commissions to people where, like, they just, like, I'm not going to have it be like, oh, you have to do it by color. I'm like, no, tell me what Pokemon you want and tell me what flag you want. And I'll do it for you. I'll draw your favorite little guys. Okay, so we're going to do the base yellow. Might have to finagle some of these other colors. I mean, I could just do an entire, yeah, like, that's the thing, like, I could just do an entire pride flag of your favorite Pokemon in those colors. It doesn't have to be accurate. Oh, wait, no. Not that. mean, I think the body for shiny phalanx is more brown. But I get what you're going with for. I get it. Do. Aren't you? Oh, I see. It keeps clipping to the... I was like, why isn't it drawing on that? There we go. It was snapping to the ruler. That's why. There we go. Oh. All right, which color should we do next? We have red, orange, green, blue, and purple left. We have about half an hour left to stream. Dang, half an hour already? Okay, blue? Okay. Alright, I think we'll do Psyduck. Hold up. Alright, just looking for some good Psyduck pose. I think we're gonna go with a classic Psyduck pose. Yeah. Yeah, I've got my little note here. My little shinies, my little sparkles here to remind me that's the shiny we picked for this print. Oh. Okay. I think I'll turn on the opacity a little bit more on that. Alright. Okay, he's got a little oval head. There was an episode, I think, of Pokemon Chronicles back in the day, like one of the spin-off miniseries. And there was an episode where Misty ran out of gym badges for the Cerulean Gym. And so, like, she had to go to, like, the dude who made the gym badges. And he was all like, well, your Psyduck doesn't even know how to swim. What kind of water Pokemon gym leader trainer are you if your Psyduck doesn't even know how to swim? You know. And so he, like, refused to give her a badge. And then, like, Team Rock, I think Butch and Cassidy, other Team Rocket dudes showed up and there were shenanigans and like Misty managed to like fight them off and everything. And then like at the end of that episode, I remember my mom just going like, did Totodile ever learn how to swim? And I was like so confused because I was like, Mom, Totodile wasn't even in this episode. And she was like, yeah, the Trip Through Kanto video. Yeah. And like, and I was like, Mom, Totodile wasn't even in this episode. What are you talking about? And she's like, well, that little yellow Pokemon with that didn't know how to swim. Did it learn how to swim? And I'm like, no, that's the whole joke with Psyduck, is that Psyduck doesn't know how to swim. That's a water Pokemon that doesn't swim. That's the bit. That's the joke. And like, listen, I gave her a gold star for like at least knowing the name of a Pokemon, and they had like the same type, you know. But I was just like, Mom, like Totodile wasn't in this episode. Totodile's a little blue alligator. What do you mean? Oh yeah, like that's like one of my things. Like even as an adult now, I'm like I got nibblings. I got a nibbling, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever they get into as they get older, I'm always gonna ask them about it. I might not always understand what they're talking about, but I'm at least gonna make the effort to try to understand. And not like call their interests stupid and dumb and childish. I'm like, no, you like what you like. I'm just like, an effort was made. Okay, I think I'm gonna scooch the beak over just a smidgen. Okay. I mean, I highly doubt CoComelon has any lore to it. Also, my sister is a CoComelon free house. I think my nibbling really enjoys like Daniel Tiger and Bluey. Which I'm like, those tolerable. I've never seen Daniel Tiger, but I know it's like a spin-off of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, so I'm like, it's gotta be good if it's a spin-off of Mr. Rogers. I love Mr. Rogers. I'm gonna just put these pupils really far apart because I think it's funny. Like, oh man, there was like a children's museum or something I went to with one of the day camps I was in as a kid, and they had like a replica of like the castle of make-believe from Mr. Rogers with puppets, And I was like, oh, cool, I can recreate, like, an episode of Mr. Rogers with the puppets. And I got so annoyed at the other kids that they weren't playing with the puppets right. They were trying to make them do inappropriate things, and I'm like, King Friday would never. I have been enjoying the DLC for Pokemon ZA. Mostly because I gotta get I got a Mudkip. I didn't know Mudkip was available in the game. When I saw their tiny little silhouette in like the Dimension Portal, the DLC, I was like, it's a Mudkip. We gotta go make a donut so I can go get a Mudkip. Like, my all-time favorite Pokemon is Umbreon, but Mudkip is up there. So, I got, like, a good mix of, like, Umbreons and Mudkips in my Pokemon plush collection, and plus the other assorted Pokemon that I really like. I got quite a few Elekkids, actually. Because I really like Elekid. Yeah, I got Big Pesto, my Sprigatito. that was a fun trip to Walmart with my mom. That was like right after my birthday, where she'd given me some money. And I remember, like, because she was doing her own shopping, and then I finished my shopping, and I was just standing there waiting for her to finish up with this giant Sprigatito under my arm. And, like, there was this kid, like, maybe, like, 8 or 9, maybe 10, who was just, like, looking at me like, what? Because I'm soundly in my 30s, and I'm standing there, like, scrolling on my phone with a giant Sprigatito under my arm, and I'm just like, this is mine. Yeah, I got my big Sprigatito plush is Big Pesto. And then my smaller Sprigatito plush is Sagua. I want to add more Sprigatitos and just keep naming them after herbs and cats. Oh yeah. It's the joys of having adult money. As long as all my bills and stuff are covered, I get to spend the leftovers however I wish. I mean, I did... there was that impulse buy of the Sleeping Umbreon plush from Walmart a couple weeks ago, but that plush is like never at Walmart. I had to jump on it when the opportunity presented itself. Like, I had to have that plush. Okay. You know what? Oh man, that week was it was such a rough week that week. Such a rough week. It wasn't even fair. The universe really hated me that week. I had my art disrespected, a tree fell on my car. There we go. It's over now. I have my car back. Things are just a little tight financially, but it's temporary. It'll get better. Oh, thank goodness. I'm just really hoping that June is the opposite of May. I mean, I'm already pretty busy all of June, not just with shows, but with, like, family stuff. Because, like, this weekend I'm going to the Museum of Science and Industry with my mom to see an exhibit. And we've had this trip planned for several months. For a few months now. Because I think the exhibit we're seeing is only there till, like, September, like, till Labor Day. So I'm like, oh, we need to get in sooner rather than later. They might extend it. Because, like, the Spider-Man exhibit has been there for, like, God, I swear, like, a year now. They kept extending it because it was so popular. But this is, like, a Broadway costume designers exhibit. So like I still want to get to the fossil exhibit at the Field Museum with the Pokemon exhibit. And I know that's like a separate ticketed entry, so you have like the way the museums work in Chicago, at least. I don't know how it works in other museums, but the large museums in Chicago is that they'll have like your general admission for like to see all the stuff, but then like if they have like a special exhibition, you have to pay extra to see that one. And like the Pokemon exhibit is one of those where you have to pay a separate admission to get in. And I'm thinking that might be my birthday gift to myself, as I'll go down in December to go see that exhibit. Mostly because I want to like finish paying off like my dental debt, and then like the money that would go towards that could go towards funding that trip, because I know I'm going to probably spend a couple hundred, like at least $100 on that trip, not including admission. Because I do want to get the plushie, the archaeologist Pikachu plush that's exclusive to the museum. And like maybe some pins. I have to like look up what they're selling, because there's a 5-item limit and only one plushie per person. So I'm like, I have to be really decisive with what souvenirs I want. But I know like some of the stuff is available on the Pokemon website, the Pokemon Center website. But I'm like, no, part of going to the exhibit is the souvenirs. So like when I saw the Spider-Man exhibit at the Museum of Science and Industry a couple months ago, I bought myself a shirt and my brother a shirt because my brother really likes Spider-Man. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy myself a shirt. Bought my brother a shirt. I don't think I bought any of the other merch though, because like everything else was just like kind of generic Spider-Man stuff. The shirts were like branded to the museum, so I felt okay spending $40 on a t-shirt. And I got my brother one because he just really likes Spider-Man. Okay. I'm gonna do the tail. But I also like, when I did my trip to the Museum of Science and Industry, I also like collecting like the pressed coins. Well, they do like the little pressed pennies. I learned that you don't have to bring your own pennies anymore because it's like $1 to get one instead of like 51 cents like it was when I was a kid. Because it was like you provided your own penny, you paid 50 cents, so 2 quarters, you put it into the machine and you crank it and it makes the pressed coin for you. Yeah, but now I think they're just loaded with blanks and you can either use a dollar bill or your debit card. It was like one of those moments where I'm like, oh yeah, it's been like 10 years since I last went to this museum. Of course things have changed. I don't think this is the right blue. Hold on. I think we'll use the blue from the buy flag. Right? It's crazy. I also liked getting like the Mold-A-Ramas when I was a kid. I don't know. I think that's a thing at other museums too. They're very popular in Chicago though. They're little like wax molded like figurines. I just, now that I like travel into the city, they're so cool. Like, hold on, let me see if I can Google it real quick and like put it in the Discord. Yeah. Oh, the wiki. Perfect. But, like, I remember getting one from, like, the Field Museum as a kid that was, like, a T-Rex. And then my brother got a Bronchiosaur or something, like, one of the long-necked dinosaurs. And, like, we'd play with them, and, like, the back, like, a hole formed in the back of, like, my brother's Moldorama. And I'm like, this is great. And now it looks like my dinosaur ate your dinosaur. Okay. Alright. Yeah, they're just like little hollow, like, wax figures. And, like, I think, like, all of the museums in Chicago has them. And, like, um, they're, like, really cool. I don't have anywhere to keep them safe, so I don't get them right now. And I think they change them. I think a lot of the museums and zoos in the area have actually, like, switched their designs out, because they do change them out on occasion. Like, the molds that they use, the color of wax that they use, it gets just switched out. I think the Museum of Science and Industry has one that's like the Chicago skyline, and it's in green wax, so it looks like the Emerald City, because the writer of Wizard of Oz based the Emerald City off of Chicago. I actually went on a trip. I actually was in the city that the author lived in when he wrote Wizard of Oz. So, like, they had, like, Wizard of Oz statues at, like, their local library and stuff. It was really cool. Because, like, I really like Wizard of Oz, the movie. I haven't had the opportunity to read the books. I'm pretty sure I got photos somewhere. Because, like, I remember when I was, like, 4 or something, I dressed up as Dorothy for Halloween. My mom made my costume for me. Yeah, so, like, when I was little, one of my aunts still lived with my grandma, and, I didn't know it for a while, but, they had a copy of Wizard of Oz, so every time we went over to see my grandma, I would watch Wizard of Oz, and, like, when my aunt moved away for college, or, like, yeah, she either moved away for college, or, like, she moved away after college. Um, she took all of the VHSs with her because they were all hers. And I was so upset because she took Wizard of Oz. Yeah, she took the Wizard of Oz. It's fine. I think, like, several years ago now, the movie theater I worked at the time, they did, like, a limited, like, a $1 movie or a $5 movie. I think it was a $1 movie. During the summer, they have, like, the $1 movie series. And one of the weeks they had, like, Wizard of Oz. And I just so happened not to be working that day. And I went to my aunt who I was living with at the time. I'm like, hey, do you want to, like, go see Wizard of Oz on the big screen? And she was like, yeah, sure. So we went to go see Wizard of Oz. It was so cool to see it on the big screen. Because, like, that movie's nearly, like, 100 years old. Like, it's kind of crazy. Some of the movies I grew up watching with, like, my mom. Like, some of those movies... I'll be alive when those movies turn 100. Like, White Christmas is one of them that it's, like... I think they just had their 75th anniversary a couple years ago, or last year. And I was just like, I'm still gonna be alive when this movie hits 100. Damn. Oh, nice. There's like a couple like video essays or like YouTube historians that have like gone into like the history, like the production history of Wizard of Oz. And man, the production of that movie was so fucked up. But it was also the 30s, so like the Cowardly Lion suit was actually made out of a real lion. The snow was done with asbestos. Like I think Margaret Hamilton, the person who played the Wicked Witch, got burned on like one of the practical effects of like where she like did a smoke bomb and like or a fire bomb and like disappeared. Like something went wrong with like the trap door she was supposed to disappear into, and she got burned real bad. And then like, oh man, I think they actually used like aluminum paint for the Tin Man, and he had like an allergic reaction to it. It was wild. Like, I remember when we were making our costumes. I think they went through like five or six different directors too. Like it was like in production hell for so long. But like when my family were doing our cuz the year I dressed up as Dorothy, um I kind of inflicted the theme onto the rest of the family because I was like, oh, if I'm going to be Dorothy, the rest of you also have to dress up. So, my brother, who was like maybe like 9 months old at the time, he was a little scarecrow. Just because we already had like a pair of like patchwork overalls or something for him. So I'm like, oh, we can use this. And then my sister was the Tin Man, and my mom was the Wicked Witch. And my mom made all of our costumes. And I remember trying to figure out how to do like the funnel for the Tin Man for my sister. And originally we're like, oh, we'll just get a funnel from the store and put it on my sister's head. She was like 3. And we couldn't find a funnel big enough for her head. And then we tried making something out of like tin foil, but it didn't look good. And then I think what we ended up doing was cutting off like the top half of a gallon of milk jug and spray painting that silver, and that was the top of that was the funnel. And I still like there's been times I've gone to I was like, you know, these days we probably could have made something out of like crafting foam with a YouTube tutorial. But we didn't have YouTube. It was like 96. We didn't have YouTube. YouTube was like 10 years away. 10, 11 years away. Like, we didn't know. We did our best. All right. He be borkin'. Okay. Look at that! Not bad. We got quite a bit done tonight. He sure is. Bork bork. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to erase the entire tongue. Dang. There we go. There we go. Got a decent chunk done. Right? It's super cute. All right. Let's see who we're gonna raid into tonight. Do. Dang, a lot of my mutuals here are streaming tonight. Let's see. Though I think I want to raid into someone else. You know what? We're going to raid into this Sai Inko. Looks like they're doing some pride art tonight. So we'll get that going. So we'll be back on Wednesday with Webcomic Wednesday to see how much of the next comic page I'll crank out because I really want to keep my streak going of at least 1 page a month right now. But yeah, thanks for coming by. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll see y'all later.